Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. I'm your host Rob. This is the live stream. Great week worth of Godzilla stuff. Very exciting stuff this week. We're going to get into a lot of that. So, for those of you who have been to my live streams before, the first few minutes I like to give people an opportunity to get in here. I also like to make sure that the sound is okay, the video quality is okay, and then we're going to take off and get everything started. So, for those of you who see me and can hear me, please give me a check in the chat section so that way I can get it confirmed that you guys can see and hear me pretty much. So also we're going to start everything off with the questions that everybody emailed me. We're going to start with that. Then after those emailed questions, I'll catch as many questions as I can in the chat, and also we'll talk about some other things. A lot to cover. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So just give me a second here as I am just getting everything ready. Well, actually, I'm pretty much ready already. I'm just waiting for the video to load here so I can hit the pause button, and then we'll get started. Some of you guys were here early, huh? I came in here earlier and there was like 15 people in here. You know what I want to know? Here's my question before we get into questions. Who's been here the whole time, and what time did you get here? That's what I want to know. That's pretty interesting stuff right there. So I will look at the chat for that. All right. Bandana Milkshake in the house. Awesome. All right. So, Kyle, you can see and hear me good. All right. So I got one confirmation. I need more from you guys. So definitely please let me know in the chat. I want to make sure everybody can hear and see me well. I actually cannot see myself on screen right now. My video is buffering, but I see nothing. So it's making me a little concerned that not everybody here can see me. Okay. All right. An hour. 7 o'clock. NASCAR Freaks, minutes and 7. Hey, that's all good, Don. That's all good as long as you're here. Wow, yeah. Wow, I guess a lot of people were here early. Okay. All right, got a check from everybody. All right, so this is something wrong on my end then. For whatever reason, I cannot see you guys, or I can't see myself. So just bear with me. I want to make sure that I know that's not really important, but in some ways it is because it just gives me the peace of mind that that everything's working properly. So just bear with me a second here. I'm going to actually use Google Chrome. I was using Internet Explorer. I should know better. Being a computer guy, I should know better, but you know how that goes. All right. All righty. Okay, so did anybody see Beyond the Trailers review for the Godzilla trailer? I know a couple of people touched base with me about that in the Nation Facebook page, and I know that it wasn't the most popular. Definitely wasn't the most popular of. Oh, here we go. Oh, they threw an ad in front of my video. That's just great. Let me mute that. So, like I was saying, I know that it definitely wasn't the most popular review. My issue with it was everybody's entitled to their opinion, but she had no knowledge of the content. That's my issue. Like, she was pretty much basing it off of the '98 movie, and that's it. Like, there was no mention of Gojira. There was no mention of, I mean, I know she said Gojira, but I don't recall her using the 1954 movie as a reference. And then she didn't talk about Godzilla Returns, 1984. I mean, that's some pretty important content, in my opinion, to miss out on if you're going to do a review on a trailer. And then on top of that, on top of all that, criticize the hell out of a trailer for a movie that's not out yet. Like, she's already talking about plot holes, and the movie's not even out. How can you talk about plot holes if the movie's not even out, like that's where I have a problem. It's like I know that I'm somewhat biased. I mean, like, I'll be honest here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but you're talking about plot holes on a 2 minute and 30-second trailer. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. This has been a week where I've really had a hard time understanding the greater humanity and their thought process. Like, and a lot of you know that. So, but anyway, all right. So everybody can hear me. Everybody can see me. That's great. Awesome stuff. Glad to hear it. So we are going to get started now. As I said, I'm going to start off with the questions that were emailed to me throughout the week, and some of them came in today and things of that nature. So I'm going to start off with that, and then we'll get to as many questions as I can in the chat room. So let's see. Let me just catch up with you guys real quick. 2 hours. She's stupid, Kai J says. You know, I mean, look, she's obviously got a very successful channel. She's good at what she does. But sometimes, you know, you just can't. You can't. I mean, if you don't know the content, you shouldn't talk about it. I guess that's my opinion. I mean, I've been guilty of that before. So, but all right. So let's get started here. We're gonna start off with the questions that were emailed to me. There weren't that many, which is understandable because this was like a last-minute live stream scheduled. But nonetheless, so I should be able to get through these rather quickly, and then we can move on to the chat room. So. Oh, yeah, Donald, absolutely, absolutely. Todd, beyond the trailer, I forget the girl's name. I think her name is Grace. She did a review for the Godzilla trailer, and she tore it apart. She tore it apart. She actually liked the first trailer better than the second one, and I'm not knocking the first trailer. The first trailer was great, but it pales in comparison to the second one. So, you know how it goes. All right. All right, so let's get to the questions here, and we're going to start off with Daniel. I hope I pronounced your names right. Just let you guys know if I pronounce your name wrong, I do apologize in advance. So this is from Daniel Stavne. Stavne, I'm going to guess that's what it is. He has 3 questions. This first one is, although Alexandre Desplat is an amazing composer, do you think he will be able to pull off a Godzilla soundtrack of epic proportions? You know, that's a good question. I've heard some of his work, and some of his work that I've heard has been actually pretty good. There are some composers I like better than him, but he's certainly not a bad one. Obviously, he's very popular in Hollywood. I think the music they've been using in both trailers has not necessarily been his composed music, but I think, like, for example, the first one, that music was from, like, 2001 A Space Odyssey. So I don't even think I've heard his music yet. So I think time will tell on that one. But a lot of people seem to feel very good about him. So the bottom line is, I think I'll be so wrapped up in the movie, I don't think they could play fucking Crisscross in the background. I wouldn't even notice. So I guess he can't fail in my book. Let's just, you know. Do you think Godzilla will grow as humanity keeps on nuking him? No, because I don't think humanity's going to keep on nuking him. Here's the interesting thing. So we know that in the trailer they nuked him in 1954 to try to kill him. They didn't. And then, for those of you who were asking me earlier today if I saw the interview, well, not interview, but Gareth Edwards breaking down the trailer as they go, and also other people describing what they saw in the 20-minute footage, the scene in the train tracks, it seems like they're trying to collect all the nuclear weapons or whatever, anything nuclear, they're trying to move to one central area. And I think that is because these monsters, I don't necessarily think it's Godzilla, but all the monsters, including Godzilla, Muto monsters, I think they're drawn to it. So they're trying to get the nuclear bombs and all the nuclear items, whatever you want to call it, into an area where it will not affect humanity or have collateral damage. When you think about all the nukes that exist in the world, that's a tall order. And I remember talking about whether or not the Mutos are going to be worldwide. I think they are, and I think every country is going to have a responsibility to gather all their nuclear arms and things like that and bring them to a central location where they can either let these monsters feed or whatever the case, you know. So I don't think you're going to see him constantly being nuked. I mean, that would just be kind of dumb. If you drop a nuke on something and it kind of brushes it off and keeps coming, you might as well just find a cave to hide and just call it a day. There's really nothing else you can do. So, and his third question is: in the recent trailer, we saw Godzilla bursting from the water near an island. Do you want the Big G to make his first appearance in the daytime or the nighttime? How do you picture it? I think that has already been confirmed to be one of the opening scenes. So, in terms of night or day, it doesn't matter to me. But from what I understand, that's one of the opening scenes. And then they said the scene at the end of the trailer, this was in IGN, the two men from Britain, when they were discussing it, they said that there's a scene at the end of the trailer that's also actually part of the opening scene. The scene at the end of the trailer is Godzilla roaring while the door's closing. So I'm wondering if that's him wreaking havoc, and then these people are getting into bunkers and locking themselves away. So anyway, thank you for your questions, Daniel. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to take a quick peek over here into the chat. Okay. Oh, that's all right, Brandon. I appreciate it, though. I do appreciate it that you stopped by. All right, so I'm just trying to catch up and see everybody, because I know you guys are typing in there, and I'm going to try and just break in between real quick. Atacat TV, nah, I don't think there's more than one, and I don't even think we'll get. I'm not 100% sure we're going to get a story as to how he became. I think he just is. I don't even think the characters in the movie are going to know his origin. So if they don't know his origin, then I don't think he's going to. I don't think we're going to know his origin. But again, I'm not sure. We would have to wait for the movie on that one. All right. So these next set of questions come from Rob Taylor, and he's of course part of the Nation Facebook page. His first question is: in a fight scene between Godzilla and the Mutos, do you think we'll see wilderness fights and sea fights like the classic G movies? Definitely, possibly a fight in the sea. I think that's a possibility. Wilderness, I mean, they are going to be in Hawaii. Whether or not there's going to be a Muto there for him to pound on, I don't know. But definitely looks like we're going to get some fights in the city. That's for sure. So, yeah, I just don't know how much. There's still a lot of questions about the Mutos. Now everybody says the original story was 2. I feel like it appears to be like there's going to be more than 2, and everyone who saw that 20-minute clip keeps talking about this huge surprise. Now I define that as something we're going to be familiar with, because if it's a surprise, then it's I guess what I'm trying to say is, when you see something in a movie that's like a big plot development or a shocker, then you're like for example, like the end of The Sixth Sense. You know what I mean? That was a surprise. You kind of obviously didn't see it coming. It was a shocker. But then that's something they never spoke about. Where in this movie, they're speaking about it because it's like they want you to it's like they're telling you, watch this part. This is very big. Is it very big because it's something that we know about, but we don't have any confirmation of? Real interesting stuff. So, but in terms of the fighting, yeah, I think more city fights than anything. Maybe a sea fight. Wilderness, we'll have to see. His second question is: when the fights go down, do you think we could see Godzilla's classic tail suplex slam, like what he does to King Ghidorah? Yeah. Yeah. The end of your question, you're like King Ghidorah when grabbing the 3 heads and Godzilla versus Gigan, or is that too cheesy? Yeah, if he keeps pulling them up and slamming them, pulling up that, yeah, that's a cheese factor. I think if he takes a Muto's tail and he whips him around and tosses him through a building, that's different. So that would be cool to see. But if he stops in the middle of everything and he picks up a Mutos and he slams him down, and then you start to hear the theme music to a Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, yeah, I think we're gonna have an issue of cheesiness there. Um, okay, so last question from Rob. How do you think this movie will deal with the amount of damage these monster fights are going to inflict? Because in the classics, it's like never permanent. Yeah, I understand what you mean. I don't really think they're gonna focus on that too much. I mean, usually when you talk about natural disasters, the rebuilding process is after the disaster. The disaster in this movie is going to be from beginning to end. So I don't really think we're going to see a lot of dealing with calamity and collateral damage and all that kind of stuff. They're going to have their hands full enough with all the monsters roaming around that's just going to have to take a back burner until they get through the tough period. So, but all right. So those are questions from Rob Taylor. The next set of questions come from Mark Abarca. I hope I pronounced that right. I probably didn't, but I do apologize. Mark's a big-time contributor on the Facebook Nation page. He's also one of the administrators, and I still don't know what YouTuber he is. You would think I would know that. So, Mark, if you're here, shout yourself out so I know who you are. I might have asked you this and forgotten, though. I know I'm horrible with that, so I do apologize. All right. So, Mark's question, if the new Godzilla film does very well, would you like or expect an animated series to come out as it tends to happen? Yeah, I don't have a problem with an animated series. I know a lot of people have been saying it's either yes or no or it will never happen. I mean, I don't know if it'll happen or not, but it wouldn't bother me. I would be honest, I don't really watch a whole lot of cartoons anymore, so if they're going to do an animated series, it'd have to be a little bit more for adults, but I just know that's not going to happen. If they made an animated series, it's going to be for the younger audience, so, you know. And his second question was something he asked on the Facebook group page. How would you feel if there existed another species of Godzilla that takes on the new Godzilla as a possible sequel scenario? I got to be honest. I don't know if I'd want to see him fight another Godzilla. I know that seems to be a really popular thing, but yeah, I don't think they do that. I don't think, especially if the Mutos monsters are successful. If that's if being an original creation, we got confirmation today from Gareth Edwards. Being an original creation, if they're successful, if fans gravitate to those villainous creatures like they did to monsters like Ghidorah and Gigan and Megalon and Rodan, although Rodan I don't really consider a villain, but okay, all right, cool, thanks. I did say your name right. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they would do that. They would spoil an opportunity to either A, design a new kaiju, or B, if it's successful and Toho decides to give them the world, bring in some other ones. So, all right, so this next question is from Eric Matthews. What do you make of Gareth Edwards' comment on Empire when he says the Mutos designs were inspired by sharks, the alien queen from Aliens, insects from Starship Troopers, and gorillas? Yeah, I mean, that it sounds like Godzilla's gonna have his hands full. I mean, those are some pretty wicked. I mean, you've seen Starship Troopers. Those bugs were vicious, vicious bugs, and obviously the alien queen, sharks. I mean, what else do you need? And gorillas. I mean, those are probably four animals you wouldn't want to catch on a back alley, and probably four animals you wouldn't catch on a back alley regardless. But you get my point. So, so the next question is from Alex Put, and I'm saying it because that's how it was typed, but I'm assuming maybe it's pronounced Pute. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. Hey, does your wife like Godzilla? If so, what are your favorite movies? Excuse me. If so, what are her favorite movies? And is she looking forward to the new Godzilla movie? She is looking forward to the new Godzilla movie. She did see the second trailer and she thought it looked good. However, beyond that, she as you guys know, she's not going to be on the camera today because she's not feeling very well. She got sick the other day, so she's actually hovering around though, and she's cracking up. She's laughing in the background because when I do my rewind reviews, I tend to watch the movie before I view it, before I do the review as a refresher. So a lot of times she'll have to sit there and watch it with me, and I can tell you, it's she's not impressed, to say the least. She's not impressed. But that's because a lot of those movies are very old. A lot of them use animatronics and stuff like that. My wife is a wonderful woman. But she's a girly girl. She's a girly girl. She likes love movies, and she likes action movies as well. But definitely the love movies. And even today, like she was, she's not feeling well, but at the same time, she was talking about getting in the shower, putting on makeup, getting all dressed up, and I'm over here wearing a T-shirt, and I'm like, honey, if you do all that, I'm gonna have to wear a suit before I get on camera. So, but she does think it looks very good. She likes the tone. So, and your second question was, what are your top 10 Godzilla movies? If you can't think of 10 off the top of your head, just put in at least the last March of the King episode, I guess, that I liked. That's what you're trying to say? What's up, Cookie Kaiju? Yeah, that's tough because I like more than one, but I really can't state 10 right now. I can just toss a couple out there to give you an idea, but 54 and 84 were probably my two favorites because of the serious tone. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Monster Zero, Godzilla vs. Biollante, GMK. I like Final Wars. I don't like anything else that was outside of the monsters, but yeah, those are just to name a few. Not in necessarily the order, but to name a few, those are some that I really like. Okay, so the next question is from Brian Crockett, and I'm actually going to entertain this question. This is I don't know. Is Brian even here? I haven't seen him popping his. Where's Brian at? I know he's in here somewhere. Brian, show yourself. If I'm going to do this question, Brian, you need to show yourself. If not, I'm just going to skip it. And you guys know Brian. It's a very dumb question, but nonetheless, I'm going to entertain it just for comical reasons. Where's Crockett? What Oh, a lot of conversation going on. All right, so I don't see Brian. I'm gonna move on. We'll skip Brian's question. All right, so this next question comes from Oscar Jennings. I wanted to. Excuse me. I wanted you to stir up some talk and let me know your thoughts. If you can make out a Muto circle. You know what? I'm a little confused with this question, so give me a second. If you can make out the Muto circle, if I'm right, let's see. Oh, okay. All right. I remember this question. This was actually regarding the picture. All right. The picture with the. Okay. So basically, Oscar sent me this email with pictures. The thing of it is, I transferred all the questions to a Word document, so the pictures are gone. But I got it. So he wanted me to talk about when the Muto claw comes down. He wanted me to discuss certain areas of the picture where you could see, I guess, see something in the background. There is definitely something in the background, and I have Adobe Premiere Pro. I really haven't had the hours to sit there and go through each frame by frame, but when I have hit certain spots, you do see some stuff as clear as day. So if you guys have a pretty decent editing program, if you pull up the part where the Muto drops his hooks, and actually there's pictures out there showing it, but in the background you can clear as day see. It's like oh my God. I'm going to have to probably describe it in a video. I'll bring it up to you guys. But if you get an opportunity to do that, because there's something there, and you hit it at the right angle with lighting, because when I put my editor up, I can control the gamma, so I make it a little bit brighter, and it's incredible. And it's multiple legs. So I will say that's what it looks like to me. It's still hazy enough to give you reasonable doubt, but it's bright enough to say, you know what, definitely something, multiple legs there. Yep, yep. All right, so this question comes from Connor Matthews, and his question is, just give me 1 second here. Okay, so with all the new info the past week, do you think they're going to show Godzilla right away, or until the Hawaii scene? And would you like to see him fully right away, or a little bits at a time, so on and so forth? Well, obviously, like I said before, we know we're going to see him in the opening. We're probably not going to see his full body. We'll see his body coming out of the water. We'll probably get a shot of his face towards the end of that scene, or was it the destruction scene they said? But I think after that, when he first makes full landfall in the movie, I don't think you're going to see his face right away. I think you might see him trudging around and destroying buildings, and then it will get to a point where you just get to see his full body. But it's so hard to tell. As much as they showed us, it's still very secretive. So, all right. So this next set of questions comes from Christopher Bond, and his first question is: do you believe the new Godzilla film is betraying the original film by changing Godzilla's origin? Why or why not? No, I don't think it's betraying it. I think it's refreshing it. And not to mention, we don't really know if there's going to be an origin story or not. The only thing we got out of the trailer was that they awoken something, which is what he says, and they tried to kill it. And obviously when they tried to kill it, I think maybe they knocked him out for a couple of years, 50 years to be exact, and he came back. So I don't, whether or not they're going to go into an origin story, it looks like they might, but we still don't know 100% because, I mean, there's just not that kind of information out there. I don't think, and you could tell Gareth Edwards, that's kind of an area he seems to be avoiding, so it'll be interesting. But overall, I don't think they're going to betray that. I think it's going to be, whatever they do, I'm sure Toho's all for it, but either way, even if we don't get his origin, I think that's kind of cool because then it'll be a mystery, and mystery is always fun. All right, so your second question was, what is your favorite non-Godzilla Toho movie? There's quite a few of them actually, believe it or not. I like Gorgo. Gorgo is one of my all-time favorites. Rodan is really good. King Kong, the original from 1933, was a classic. I do like Peter Jackson's as well. I thought that was really good. Trying to think of other ones. There's so many. I wasn't big on. I haven't seen the new Mothra trilogy. I've been meaning to order it, and I keep forgetting. But I did see one of them not too long ago. It was the third one, and I thought it was pretty good. Even though I'm not a huge Mothra fan, I thought it was pretty good. So your third question is, how would you imagine a realistic take on King Ghidorah? Wow, this question comes up at least once every live stream. Yeah, if they did King Ghidorah in a movie like we're gonna see in May, like let's say for example, once again speculation, if Toho had given the rights to Legendary after the success of the first movie, and they decided to go with Ghidorah like in a third movie, I would definitely like to see him updated. But the most important feature to me is that Ghidorah comes out with arms. I just think that would fit perfectly. And yeah, I mean, I think yeah, I've said it so many times before. So Ghidorah with arms, updated look, more dragon. I mean, he has scales already, so I think just leverage that and keep going with the whole dragon look. Make him a lot bigger. I know that sounds crazy. He's already pretty big, but make him a little bit bigger. Really make him an imposing threat. Like if he ever came out in the movie, I want him to really like kick the crap out of Godzilla before Godzilla even gets a chance to do anything. So, oh, and thank you. Somebody just corrected me. That's why I stumbled because I noticed that he said non-Godzilla Toho movie. So I do apologize. Non-Godzilla Toho movie would be Gamera. Although they didn't have him at the time, I don't think, right? I know he's Toho now, but so yeah, 90s Gamera trilogy was incredible. I was so happy to get to see that trilogy recently. So this next question comes from Commuter Fan, and He's also asking me a question about the trailer. Bear with me because he wrote a couple of paragraphs here, so I just want to get to the meat and potatoes of this. All right. He's talking about the all right, so he wants to know about the monster flying down from the fog. Okay. So he wants to know what I think about the theory of the monster that's in the air and then splashes into the water. Um, it's still hard to tell. I mean, obviously everybody was talking about it being Rodan, Rodan, Rodan. We know now that Gareth Edwards has confirmed once again that these are original creations. Um, again, I always still think somebody's capable of lying, especially if they want to keep a surprise. But let's give Gareth benefit of the doubt. Let's assume he's telling the truth. There are no Toho monsters, no homages to Toho monsters. With that said, I have no idea. I have no idea at all. Um, I guess if I wanted to start speculating using some of the comments made online by different, but man, some of that stuff goes so far, and a lot of it's just not true. So yeah, I can't call that. If it had to be, if it was a Toho monster, the first monster I would think of is Rodan, because when they're splashing into the water, that doesn't look like a pincer in the back. It looks more like their wings are folded back, and they're just nose diving into the water. So, but outside of that, I no clue, no clue what that might be. So this next question is from Chase Wagner. My question is, how do you think Godzilla's atomic breath will work, and how many times do you think or prefer seeing it in the movie? Uh, I I think, and I've said this many times before, I think we'll see it maybe 4 times, 4 or 5 tops. I don't think he's going to use it to level a city. He might use it once to level a city, just to show the kind of destruction he's capable of. And I see him using it in some fights where he's kind of backed into a corner. I think in this movie he's only going to use it when it's absolutely necessary. I don't think it's going to be like he just blows it every 2 minutes, like, you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be like that. Now, in terms of how many times I prefer seeing it, it wouldn't matter to me either way. I have said in the past that I would prefer they use it, sporadically. Sometimes in the Godzilla movies, especially in the ones where he seems to be in trouble and he comes back, like the initial time he used the blast, and that's great. But then after that, he keeps bombarding them, and it just kind of takes away from the brute uh, force that he's capable of. Like for example, like Space Godzilla. All right, he turned the tide of the fight with a Godzilla blast, and then all he kept doing was blasting and blasting and blasting. Like in this movie, you're not going to see that. This movie, he might be backed into a corner. A mutant might have him by the throat, and then that's where I see him using the blast. But in terms of fighting, I think he's going to be claw, slash, and bite man all the way. I think that's what they're going to do with that. So, all right, and the last question by Slender Hunter, not Godzilla related. This question is: what direction do you think The Walking Dead will take if they kill off one more of the main characters? I think it'll take a direction into no one is safe on that show, not even Rick. And I know there is a rumor that there's supposed to be another death happening within the next 5 episodes, leading to the season finale. And the rumor has it that it's Maggie, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Okay, so that is it for the email questions. Thank you guys for sending me an email. I hope I answered the questions, uh, you know, accordingly. So let's move on to the chat room. So, okay, Brian is watching. Well, all right. Well, I have to go back to his questions later. TF3100, did you hear about the footage, Rob? Could you elaborate what footage? Because I've seen a lot of footage in the last week. Definitely seen a lot of footage in the last week. So just let me know what you mean there. Um, okay, so let me see if I can catch up here. So So Donald Sneed, Rob, what do you think about Godzilla's biology? A creature that massive would have redundant organic system. Not to mention he's a walking nuclear reactor. His biology is very complex. I don't know what it's going to be like in this movie, and I'm not sure how deep they're going to delve into it. I think you kind of have to delve into it a little bit. It just I don't know if they're going to go into every detail, nick and cranny. I don't know if he's going to have a brain on his thigh like he did in another movie. It's really hard to tell. But the biology of Godzilla's past, like other Godzilla movies, it's changed, it's evolved. Like for example, in King Kong vs. Godzilla, he had a brain this big, and then in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, he had two brains. One of them were in his thigh. So very weird stuff. Very weird stuff. All right. So let's see what else is going on here. Hey Ag, where is he? He's watching, but he's not participating. That's not very much. That's not like Brian. Did he break a finger or a fingernail? So, all right. So let me go cover Brian's question now, because since he happens to be. Oh, actually, hold on here. I might not be able to cover his question after all because I closed the word processor and I never saved it. I just had it up. Let me see if I can retrieve your question. So give me a second, Brian, to cover your question. All right, let's see here. Actually, I did miss quite a few questions because Joshua had some questions too, and I missed them. All right, so let's start with Brian real quick because he was first. What do you plan to do after Godzilla? We know you'll still have The Walking Dead, Rewind Review, Game of Thrones, but what do you do to keep Godzilla fans included with your channel? Would like to know what both scenarios hold if the movie flops or succeeds. I think if the movie flops, it'll probably be a long rant for a long time. If the movie is successful, I see probably the hot topic dying down a couple of weeks after the movie. What I will do in the meantime, I don't know. I guess I would have to get a general consensus of what my viewers enjoy outside of Godzilla to see if it relates to any of the content that I have plans for going forward. So that's actually a very good question, Brian. And it's funny because that has been on my mind because I know that right now Godzilla is the hot topic. Tons of Godzilla fans out there. But, once this is all over, I would have reviewed every Godzilla movie. I would have reviewed and we would have discussed every possible scenario. Yeah, there's probably a good chance there's a trilogy, but how long we're going to have to wait before we even get word on a sequel? So, I mean, we're probably looking at, after the Godzilla movie, we're probably looking at a good year before there's even anything good to talk about. Maybe a little bit less if you take into consideration the Blu-ray movie and if we get any kind of Easter eggs or any kind of fun stuff to talk about on that. But yeah, I see it definitely dying down. Probably to maybe one video a week to 2 weeks about the topic because there really won't be much to talk about. So that's interesting. I think I'm going to have to see if I can get people involved in doing some kind of census where I can get an idea of what everybody likes. I think the video game play is probably going to be the next bread and butter because a lot of you guys play games, and I've actually recently gotten a lot of gaming subscribers, it seems. So obviously some of those test footage videos are getting around, and as you all know, I'm gonna kick that into high gear come March. So, but we'll see. I'll definitely have to do a video asking people exactly what they like outside of Godzilla. So, and let's go on to Joshua Hopkins had a couple of questions. So we'll see how has your perspective. This is from Joshua Hopkins. Has your perspective of the film changed yet? And also, do you think Godzilla 2014 will do great in the box office because the response we've been getting back from Godzilla, from what the response we've been getting from the trailer? My perspective hasn't really changed. I pretty much am seeing what I've been thinking the movie's going to be about. And that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Do I think Godzilla will do great at the box office? Yeah, I think this week opened up a lot of people's eyes. I think this trailer this week opened a lot of eyes. Because even after the first trailer, there were still people putting it into question. Where this trailer, that you really can't question anything. They showed you, they did such a great job of showing you enough to answer some questions, but at the same time not giving anything away. And that's why I can't understand Beyond the Trailer's review, because she's talking about, plus she's so far ahead of where they're at right now. So I don't know. Maybe she's a closet case Godzilla fan, and she just was so pissed of waiting this long. And there's people out there, believe it or not. I know I'm being semi-funny, but there are people out there who are closet case fans of Godzilla. They really do exist, and no matter how hyped up people are for it, they're never going to come out the closet. So that's just how it is. All right. So Josh had several other questions. Let me just pull those up real quick. So bear with me, peeps. Do you think after the death of Juliette Binoche in the trailer, Brian will never be the same again and will be obsessed with the fact and find the real cause of what killed his wife? Yeah, I think you can pretty much figure that out right on the offset. That's if she dies. And I know people don't think I'm crazy for saying that. But there was one 20-minute, I don't know if it was the one at IGN or the one I read, but the guy said something that gave me a reasonable doubt that she actually died. Or, well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess she's dead. I mean, I just hate to say 100% that something happens when I don't have conclusive evidence. So, I mean, it appears that way, but I've seen tons of movies where they make it look like somebody dies and they're not dead. So, but yeah, I think she's a goner, which sucks. Which means Juliette Binoche is only going to be in the first 15 minutes of the movie. Yeah, I think it's obvious he's not going to be the same. Yeah, I think that's pretty evident, and I think that's going to be part of his obsession. I think the other part is just because he's probably playing a character that believes in doing the right thing, more or less. So, all right, and then last question from Josh. Do you think Bryan Cranston and Aaron Taylor Johnson get arrested, interrogated for being in a restricted area? Reason I ask is because the trailer, he says, "Let me speak to someone in charge." I don't know about Aaron Taylor Johnson, and it's not necessarily that I don't think Cranston's arrested in that scene. I think because he might have played witness to some of the things that happened, and because he probably was a big time worker there, or maybe he was like an administrator in the power plant. Maybe they felt the need to tell him, because at the same time they probably felt the need to tell him not to open his mouth. So, yeah, yep, that's pretty much it. And then the last question, which was another one from Brian Crockett, which was a funny question. Obviously, Brian always coming up with some weird shit because he's a little messed up in the head, right, Brian? Right. Well, he can't defend himself, so he wanted to ask me, would you go gay for Godzilla? No. No. I love the big guy, and he's a great movie star. Been watching him since I was 3 years old, but I'm not sucking on a pipe for Godzilla. Sorry. So, all right. So back to the chat room. Thank you guys once again for your questions. I really do appreciate it. Wow. Rob, do you feel like some of the animation looks a little too cartoonish? I don't think it's not a done movie, so I'm not going to pass judgment on that just yet. I'll let you know whether or not I think it's cartoonish after the movie, after I've watched it. But for the most part, no. It looks fine. It looks fine to me right now. I understand that movies like this can look very, very fake, especially at the scale of the monsters. Excuse me, but no, I don't think it looks cartoonish at all. I think at the end of the day we have to wait till the movie's out. So, okay, so let me see here. I'm still waiting for. Yeah, that's true, Ag. I would say about 80%. I would say 80% are Godzilla fans, and then 40 of those 80 are conspiracy theory fans. All right. Whoa. Wow, yeah, it's quite a number of people in here. Um, so I'm just gonna scan through the. Okay, let's see here. Rob, any rumors regarding Blu-ray releases of older Godzilla films? I'd love to see high-sci films released in the States out as Blu-ray. Yeah, I heard they were supposed to start coming out in what, April? We were supposed to be getting three, but I don't think they were high-sci films. I think they were older films, Showa films. But they are going to start releasing them on Blu-ray. In fact, you can pre-order some of them now on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. Can I play Godzilla games? I guess I could, but I don't know if I want to. I mean, there's some games of Godzilla that were awesome, but the thing of it is, with my channel, like I'm anything I do on video is going to be stuff I enjoy doing, because if I do stuff that I don't enjoy, then the video is going to suck, and then nobody's going to want to watch it. I can't sit here 100% say that I will enjoy a Godzilla game now like I did back then. So yeah, I don't know about that, but we can investigate. I mean, they're pretty cheap now. I could probably get one, play it out, and determine whether or not I like it. And if I don't, you know, yeah, replying to Jose Alvarez's comment, I think word for a Godzilla sequel will be announced this Comic Con. Let me see. Movie comes out in May, June, July. It'll be out. You figure it'll be in the movies for at least 12 weeks. So May, June, July. So August. I don't know. That might be a little too soon. Probably the next Comic Con, because August would be probably around the time it's officially out of the theaters. I mean, I don't know if you could. I mean, can you really announce? I mean, we kind of knew with the Avengers and all that because they were setting that up way ahead of time. Godzilla, I mean, it's been so secretive. I don't know. I don't see them announcing a sequel before the Blu-ray release. So I don't know. But that would be great. That would be great. All right. So let's see, guys. I'm going to scroll up here and see if I can catch up with some questions I missed. All right. So T3 TF3100. I'm still not sure what footage you're referring to. So, and I haven't seen your reply yet. So, oh, it's updating now. There we go. All right. Let me see up here if he. Yeah, yeah. All right, we'll get back to you once I hear your reply. Rob, what's your favorite Godzilla monster? Ghidorah. Ghidorah is my favorite monster from the Godzilla universe. So it's Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla I like a lot too, though. They're pretty. They kind of jump back and forth sometimes, but I would say overall Ghidorah is my favorite. Always my favorite. That's funny. Oh, cool. Majora's Fan 101 is going to Comic Con and said that if he hears any Godzilla stuff, he'll share it with us. So that's great. Awesome. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, Jedi. The trailer was. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. And the funny thing is like I said, they showed so much without really giving away anything. I mean, we all saw the Mutos, but we don't see the Mutos. We don't fully see the Mutos. That's what I loved about the trailer. I saw, but I got to tell you, I mean, I don't know what this big. The biggest thing for me is what the surprise is, because you've all seen the 20-minute review that all these websites are giving for the 20 minutes they saw the footage, and they're all saying the same thing. There was a big surprise that Gareth made the promise they wouldn't say anything. What do you guys think that surprise is? I want to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think this big surprise is that is supposed to happen in the climax of the movie? They were saying from the Halo jump. All right. Bear with me, guys. I'm over here trying to catch up with your guys. A lot of comments going on. So when they update for me, it's like a oh my god, you guys, it's cycling through so fast. All right. Yes, a lot of comments. Wow. All right. So check this out, guys. I just got a message from Google that says due to high volume comments. Oh my god. Wow. This is a first. Due to high volume comments, they were switched off. So I actually have to manually turn them on now. So, and there's 116 people in here. So it's a lot. And this is why I tell you guys, email me your questions. I know I'm missing the world right now, but all right. So they said Jedi. They said the surprise is supposed to happen towards the climax of the movie. In fact, the Halo jumpers pretty much they said dive right into the surprise, and it's not Godzilla. So I don't know what it is. I'd love to have at least a hint. Larry, yeah, if Daryl died, I think for maybe 2 weeks people would cry and they'll just come back and watch the show. Always happens. Happened with Game of Thrones. Yeah, Jose, that's funny. That's what I was just referring to, where Jedi was asking about. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to keep saying Toho Monster, Toho Homage, but damn it, they're hiding something that they don't want us to know. Now, if it's supposed to be something we're not familiar with, it wouldn't matter either way. But I don't know. I don't know. It's got to be something that most G fans will know about or recognize. I just don't know what it is. And I'm not saying it's a monster. I don't know if it's maybe I don't know. I'm at a loss for that one. But apparently it's a big deal. They don't want it out. I'm almost certain they made those people sign waiver forms of some sort or some sort of contract swearing that they won't repeat the information, otherwise they can be held accountable. It's got to be that. And if it's that serious, I don't know, man. It's hard for me to not say it has to be somewhat Toho related, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. It's. I want to give Gareth Edwards benefit of the doubt, but let's be honest. If he did put a Toho monster in the movie, he's not going to tell us, and he will lie flat out to hide the truth. Now I'm on right now. I'm on this whole thing 6-1, half a dozen to the other, because my video earlier I said that maybe it's a good thing they don't bring Toho monsters into the movie because, quite frankly, it kind of takes the attention away from Godzilla. But what could they possibly put in this movie that would surprise us more than just seeing him? I would think it's another Toho monster. That's the only conclusion I can think of. That's why I'm having a hard time figuring it out because I'm trying to keep the concept of another Toho monster being in this movie out of my mind. I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to give him benefit of the doubt. I can't think of anything else in this movie that would surprise us. Pacific Rim, maybe a Pacific Rim homage or a crossover hint. That's the only thing I can think of. If it's not a Toho monster, the only thing I can think of that would be a big surprise for people in this movie would be some sort of Easter egg leading into a Pacific Rim crossover. That's it. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe at the end of the day, that's what it is. Why? Well, it belongs to Warner Brothers or Legendary or both. So that's a possibility. That's not outside the realm of possibility. I know a lot of people are not a big fan of that. I don't know how I would feel about it. I like to give things a chance before I just say no, it wouldn't work. I think it could work, but they're both so different in tone right now. Where Pacific Rim felt like almost like a comic book movie. A lot of action, this and that. Didn't take itself too seriously. Godzilla does not have that tone. It's a very, very serious toned movie. There's a lot of dread and darkness in Godzilla right now, from what we can see. But that's the only thing I can think of that's not Toho related. The only thing I can think of is a Pacific Rim Easter egg crossover of some sort. And even that, I don't think is what it is. I just, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. But I tell you right now, it's going to keep me up at night. I know that. I mean, that's being dramatic. It won't. But the point I'm trying to make is it's going to definitely turn the cogs in my mind till the movie comes out. So Hellstorm Ross, what color do you think the color of Godzilla's atomic breath might be? It could still be the traditional blue, red. I'm just catching up with the comments. I think it might probably still be the same blue. I read somewhere. Oh God, I wish I could remember where this was. Um, I read somewhere that, you know what, I can't even remember. So I don't want to sort it. I don't want to say it if I can't source it. But I think you'll get the blue. I think it'll look. It's not going to be a beam. It's not going to be a beam. I don't think so. I think it'll be kind of fiery. Like it looks like fire, but a different color. Like it's kind of hard to explain. I wish I had something that I could reference it. Maybe kind of look like the. Not really. All right, here's a good example. You ever seen Independence Day when the flying saucers shoot the beam down on the cities and a wall of fire just spreads throughout the city? I think it's going to look like the wall of fire, but in a blue or a really, really reddish crimson color. But that's just my thought theory type deal. Terrence Kelly, did you email me? Huh. All right, give me a second. If you emailed me now, that don't count. Just so you know. That don't count if you email me now. Let me see. I did have a folder I separated for live streams. So bear with me, peeps. Gotta make sure I hooked everybody up. All right, Terrence, yep, you did email me. I'm off my game. Actually, there's a couple of them that I missed here. All right. To be fair. So this one, and this is probably while Kyle was going crazy. Kyle emailed me a question. Are you looking forward to the casting for the new Godzilla 2014? Do you think all the actors known, do you think all the actors known so far fit the movie, or would you like to see different actors on the big screen other than those casted? No, I'm completely fine with this cast. Completely fine. In fact, I'm a little upset knowing that chances that Juliette Binoche are going to die in the first 50 minutes is pretty disappointing to me. But she's not. This is not her style of movie. I think she was doing a favor. It's not her style of a movie. She does theater. She does very dramatic movies and that kind of stuff. She's not into the whole action stuff. So she probably said, "Look, I'll be in the movie, but not long." So that's Kyle's question. All right. So Terrence Kelly, which Toho monster or monsters could fit in the Godzilla film sequels from what you have seen in the trailer, along with a description of the film? Not a monster you necessarily want, but would fit in more realistic Godzilla films like the new one. Rodan, I think, fits perfectly fine. Um, Outside of Rodan, Anguirus fits pretty good. Anguirus, I think, fits in there. Um, Let me see. Not Mechagodzilla. Ghidorah, as much as I'd love to see him, Ghidorah is a stretch. Ghidorah is a stretch. You could kind of maybe... That's a stretch. As much as I love to see him, and they would have to find a way to get him in. There's no way you have a Godzilla trilogy and start to filter over monsters from Toho and not have Ghidorah. So they would find a way to get him in. But I think Anguirus, Rodan are two definites. Mothra, I guess if you want to go the insect monster route, actually Kumanga is perfect. People hate spiders, so he'd be perfect in this new Godzilla universe, if it's even going to become that. So yeah, those monsters I think definitely. So all right, and then Terrence, you had another question here. Um, all right, let me get through this. Okay, so you said that you believe that this film could become a trilogy multiple times in several videos. If this does become a trilogy, do you think Godzilla will survive or will meet his match? If this becomes a trilogy, I think I think he's going to meet his match in this movie, regardless. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about that. But if they're going to make it a trilogy where he meets his end, I don't think it's going to be 100% certain that he dies. I really don't. I don't think you do that. That's not if I mean I'm fine with it. I can, but I don't think you do that unless you want to put closure to the American version of the movie, so that way Toho can open up a new chapter of movies in their mainland. So then I can see it happening that way. But outside of that, I'm always going to see an open ending with Godzilla in this new series because I think that's what most of the fans would want. But I think you could close the series in America, hand it back to Toho by killing your American Godzilla. So that's that. All right. Did I miss anybody else? Yes, it looks like I did. Okay, so this one comes from Ronnie. Rob, if you could design the next 2014 poster, what would it look like? And I was thinking, what if Julia Binoche's character dies at the atomic power plant in the first 15 minutes of the movie? Just you thought, yeah, like I said, that kind of sucks that it looks like that's where they're going. But like I said, this is not her kind of film. She does theater work. She's won an Oscar before. She does not do action movies. She's not in action movies. If you look at her resume, they're not action movies. There's a lot of theater work in England. So what was it? The English Patient. She won an Oscar for that. So yeah, this is not her type of movie. I think and from what I understand, Gareth had to ask her a couple of times, and I think she just probably got tired of the persistency and just decided to do it. Um, okay, so I think let me double check here. I don't think I. All right. All right, I think I covered this, but this question was from Jonathan. I can't remember because, like I said, I closed out the Word document with all the questions on it. All right, so Jonathan's question is, what do you think about these two pictures? The pictures he's referring to is the one with the monster diving out of the fog into the water, and earlier in the trailer when the Janjira nuclear power plant is collapsing, the little origami, what looks to be like birds or something. Uh, what do you think they have in common? Since Edwards was talking about them. All right, so Edwards did mention in that video that they do play a role. That's like a little Easter egg. He all but admitted that. Uh, it's a Muto. I mean, I think that's pretty clear. What Muto it is, I don't know. They did say there's a winged Muto. That probably is him. The interesting thing about this Muto is I think this Muto has a special power for EMP because those jets did not explode out of the sky. They fell. And this is another thing that's like, and again, my mind goes crazy when I start looking at this stuff. It's like trying to break down a puzzle. The big surprise, like I said, when I was thinking about it a little while ago, and I mentioned Pacific Rim, there was that big brute monster at the end that had the same kind of power. I don't know, just a thought. Not saying anything, but yeah, uh, he did say there was some sort of Easter egg about the origami birds. We do see the Muto flying out of the fog. Obviously, looks very bird-like. Again, you can't really go much further than that. It's really really hard to tell. So, yep, very very tough, very tough. All right, so sorry for those emails that I missed. I thought I had them all, but I guess I didn't. So I do apologize. Um, okay, so, ooh, lots of questions. Whoa, wow. All right. Yeah, Kyle, I just got. Yeah, obviously, I'm seeing your comment now. You probably already heard me answer your question though, so I'm glad I got back to it. Sorry about that. Okay, so just scroll through the chats here. No, Donald, I don't think so. I don't really see Destroyer. Destroyer, I can't see him in this movie. Like, I don't. I think you might see elements of him in terms of there. There's rumored to be an evolutionary process with the Muto monsters, but I mean, there's been a lot of monsters that came out well before Destroyer that could evolve. Look at Hedorah. Hedorah was a perfect example of a monster that evolved throughout the movie. Megaguirus is another one. Obviously, that was after Destroyer, but she evolved as well. So, or there was an evolutionary thing with those bugs. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really see the whole destroyer thing going on here. Um, oh yeah, they could have built a nest in San Francisco. He did also confirm that the one that was sucking on the missile, he did confirm that that was no kind of tentacle or anything. So could be a sequel hint. Yeah, Oscar, but I don't know if that about that either because they said it was the climax of the film. Do you really start hinting at a sequel before the credits roll? Nah, more than likely you'll see that at the end of the more than likely you see that at the end of the credits, which I do think we'll get a credit scene. That seems to be the staple for movies now. It's the Super X. You know what's funny about that? Batman. I kind of thought the same thing. List Batman. Like I'm like, what if it's like this new machine that all the Halo jumpers dive into? They take control, and suddenly you start hearing this music. Bam, 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 bam. All right. So anyway, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a chance he's lying, and you know me, I call bullshit on everybody. I think everybody's full of shit right off the bat. I don't give anyone benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to give him benefit of the doubt because so far he looks like he's done some justice to the movie. But yeah. So we'll see. It will be Gabra. Excuse me. Don't tread on me. If it's Gabra, he better not look like he does in that movie. Oh, that would not be good. Not be good at all. Nope. All right. All right. I was just reading a comment by Sean Henson. Remember in 2004, Final Wars, Anguirus, Caesar, and Rodan were knocked out, so it has to be Rodan. Remember, everybody, they were the only three left. Yeah, if he's not gonna, I mean, and that if he's not gonna build the movie off of the 54 100%, I very much doubt he'll take even 5% from Final Wars. Final Wars is as fun as it was to watch, and as much as I enjoy it, it did horribly. It did not do well in Japan. It's not the Oxygen Destroyer. I don't buy it. That I don't buy that. Oxygen Destroyer, I don't buy it. Hydrogen bomb. I don't really think they're gonna have time to make. I think this is a movie of endurance. I think it's a movie of endurance. I think the human race is gonna endure Godzilla till his end. I don't think they're gonna develop any weapon to kill him. They're gonna try and take all the nuke. They're gonna. You know what? This is what's gonna happen. My theory, they're gonna drain him of all opportunity to consume radiation by hiding it away like they said they were, and he's just gonna fall asleep. He'll go somewhere and he'll rest up, which is what we want, right? We want him to come back in the sequel, don't we? So that's a possibility. All right. People are so. I still am trying to figure out what the big obsession is with Destroyer. Like, I mean, he's cool looking, but I don't know. He's definitely on the bottom scale of my favorite villainous kaiju's. Is this not? I don't know. I guess maybe Destroyer is to a lot of this generation time that's like Ghidorah is to me. Like maybe I guess that's your Ghidorah. A giant condor? Oh God, I hope not. There have been rumors, Donald. Yeah, Don. I don't know if you're a recent subscriber, but I have this series of videos called the Bullshit Series. Yeah, rumors, they don't really apply here too much. And usually when I do state a rumor, the first thing I tell my viewers is it's just speculation. There's no source. Take it for what you will. It's 50-50. Take it with a grain of salt. But usually I end all those words with this, but it's probably bullshit. So, yeah, and that's another thing. You're not going to see. That's a good point, Zeomancer. Uh, when you're talking about being done with Final Wars, no need to retread material we've already seen. Yeah, and that's I think Gareth even alluded to not going with original material. So my life has been complete, Kyle Bower. Manda, Mm, but he's not that popular. Why would you bring Manda over? Like, I mean, a cool idea for a monster you hardly ever saw. If the reveal is revealed by the Halo jumpers flying into it, I think it's the Muto build a citywide nest of their own, and you see eggs scattered. That's a great possibility, Jose, because a lot of people speculate that the thing holding the bomb was a big egg sac, and Gareth did say it's not a tentacle. So, smog monster? That's not. If somebody told me there's going to be a Toho monster in it, I would put my money on Smog Monster only because Yoshimitsu Banno is a producer, and he was the one that originally was going to make this whole thing stemmed from the little idea he had for a 3D short film. But yeah, no, yeah, I don't know about that. The surprise couldn't be linked with Pacific Rim. The timeline is way off. Yeah, but Zach, I mean, how many times have we seen them alter timelines and alter universes? Nothing, when it comes to movies, nothing is out of the realm of possibility. When they touched down, think about this. In the beginning of Pacific Rim, when the kaijus touched down, all right, they touched down in San Francisco, and it didn't look very futuristic. It was normal times like us. Things got futuristic when the government was forced to come up with a plan to build the Jaegers. Now, I don't remember what year they were in. I don't remember if they even said that. But I do remember seeing the opening of the movie when the kaijus first arrived. It looked like normal San Francisco to me. It didn't look very futuristic. So, I don't know. I don't know. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility. They could easily throw in that Godzilla touched down many, many years ago, and they thought it was the first time ever, completely forgot about it, and then when a new series of monsters started arriving, they completely forgot about Godzilla because they're concentrating. I mean, they could go any direction with that. So, I wouldn't completely write that off. I'm not saying it's going to be a crossover. Likely chances are slim to none, especially if the movie is not successful, but nothing is out of the realm of possibility. That's just me. That's my thought. So, no problem, Terrence. Sorry I missed it earlier. All right. Whoa. All right. So, Halo Jumpers flies into a Muto or something like that. Yep. Slurps new King Kong figure. Mm-hmm. Irregardless isn't a word, Rob. Okay. Thank you. Neither is List Batman 1993. How's that? Okay. Um, no Gabra. No, definitely not. I don't know. I want to know the secret bad. Yeah, we all do. We're just gonna have to wait till May. Varane would be a solid choice. Oof. Yeah, I can't say I agree with that one. Um, I mean, he's a cool. I actually saw that movie a couple of weeks ago. They had it on Amazon Prime for free. But yeah. All right. Just got spammed hard. Give me a second here. I want to go up. Do you think that the Muto monsters will start attacking cities worldwide because of all the nuclear energy, or because they are attracted to Godzilla? I'm gonna go with nuclear energy. That and they said, and this comes from all the people who saw that 20-minute clip. The one on IGN, they said that they were gathering and trying to centralize all the nuclear power they had, bombs or whatever, to bring it away or bring it to a point where it's not near cities or places where it could cause a lot of damage. That's what tells me that either Godzilla or the Muto or both are attracted to nuclear power. And that's why they're going after the missiles or whatever the case may be. So, what about Dr. Phil as a surprise kaiju? Okay. Baragon, bandana milkshake. That's funny. Oh boy. So yeah, so the Halo jumpers fall into a big old pile, or rather, they fall into a big old cup of bandana milkshake. It's too funny. I think animalistic. That's the way it sounds. I mean, what was it he described today? Think of Godzilla as a dog, a bear with eagle eyes, or something along those lines. I mean, that's a pretty wicked combination. You cooked pot stickers in bison blood? Oof. I'll take your word for that. I will take your word for that. Wing Muto equals EMP ability cripples fighters. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is from Jedi. Question, Rob. We just saw the Godzilla Snickers promo tie-in. What other tie-ins would you like to see? I think we'll definitely get a soda one, maybe like Coke or Pepsi. That seems. I mean, I'm sure we'll get one of those. What other kind of popular product could they try to promote with the movie? Um, Nas? I don't know. The energy drink. um, I don't know. For some reason, I think soda, and that's like where it stops. Maybe one of the fast food chains, Wendy's, stuff like that. Majora's Fan 101. Though I think they will announce a sequel at G Fest, May, June, July. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, maybe we should probably see the movie before we talk sequel. This movie, what if this movie sucks and you don't even want to see a sequel? So I don't. But like I said, if they even announce a sequel, it's not going to be right away. I don't think. I don't think so. At least. All right. So Rob, what do you think about what do you think of Bandana Milkshake? Because you know, I was I'm thinking it's someone who can't pronounce banana milkshake. That's the first thing that popped in my head. I've been meaning to ask you that though. I just haven't gotten around to it. Brian believes he knows the surprise, but it's really for a total rated R live stream. Oh my god. Tell him if it involves sexual organs, I'm not interested. Todd Sites just saw that review with that Grace did. Want to know what would happen if you kill Godzilla with jets? You get the piece of crap we got 98. Come on. One time honor tradition of him is can't be killed. Yeah. No, Todd, I agree with that. Again, she's a good, obviously a very, very successful and very good YouTuber. I mean, I'm not subscribed to her, and that's only the third video I've seen of hers. Um, because I personally I don't like her style. That's just me. But she knows what she's doing. But that was just a horrible review. It was very bad, very very bad. Um, and it's not because she's not entitled to her opinion. She is. It's just that you can tell she doesn't know the lore. So I don't think you can really critique or criticize something without really knowing anything about it. Because a lot of the stuff she was saying, I mean, she was kind of in the eyes of people who know about Godzilla, she was kind of embarrassing herself. But I don't think she gives a shit, to be honest, anyway. So Giant Claw Hedora with the environmental context. Do you think the high side monsters don't have enough personality? Nah. Actually, I thought Biolante. Well, Biolante. Some people say, well, Biolante obviously had a personality. I mean, she was technically had a spirit in her. Um, I'm trying to think. I mean, Space Godzilla, yeah, he was kind of bland. Uh, Ghidorah, I mean, Ghidorah's always had his own personality. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like. I mean, I'm trying to filter through all the movies now, even though I'm just finished doing them. See, I this I Destroyer. Look at the end of the day, I just wasn't really impressed with Destroyer. That's just what it comes down to. I'm just not a big Destroyer fan. It's his whole look is cool, but I don't know. I guess it's because he derives from something that killed Godzilla, yet he couldn't kill Godzilla. So to me, it's like if you here's my thought: if you come from an entity that killed Godzilla and you can't kill Godzilla, you don't belong on the field. You belong on the bench. This is my opinion. All right, Brian Crockett thinks the surprise is Godzilla taking a dump on Warner Brothers headquarters. We can't really rag on them now. They've given us a lot this week, and I think they're going to continue to do so going forward. I mean, nobody expected the commercial. Let's be honest. Nobody called that. Hedorah would be culturally relevant, especially if it's nature versus man motif or polluting being, yeah. I mean, if they did Hedorah, it would be way, way different. I don't think it'll be based on what we saw in the 70s, but yeah, he would, with the whole go green thing, yeah, he would definitely be um, politically correct monster to use for the movie. Yeah, that's the big question now. What this big surprise is, and you know what? We're not going to know unless somebody. And you know what? Somebody who saw that 20-minute clip will leak it. I think at some point. But as much as I want to know, I don't want to know till the movie. So I hope it doesn't get leaked. But somebody's going to leak it in the next couple of weeks. I know it. Someone's not going to be able to help themselves because they're going to want to be that person who has that relevant information. Just remember, if you hear from certain websites that I've discussed before in the past, just be wary. All right. Terrence, I like Pacific Rim, but please don't cross them over. Uh, you know, that's not our choice, unfortunately. What if the surprise after the Halo jump, they finally found out is multiple Godzillas? Yeah, dude, that's like sacrilege, because that's more or less what they did in Godzilla '98. Only there was the one big one and the 200 little ones. Yeah, I don't see that. At least I hope I don't. Hey Rob, what if we get your Godzilla ending in the movie? How epic would that be? Yeah, I would. Well, first of all, I'd call Warner Brothers and say, "Let me get a paycheck." No, let me stop. Yeah, I don't think so. I think my ending would probably never be there. But I mean, I'd probably be like, "Holy shit!" I would definitely be shocked. I would definitely be shocked. But you know what's funny? I've had people tell me not to speculate. You know what's funny? I've had people email me and tell me not to do speculation videos anymore because they think I'm going to spoil the movie for them. and which is a big compliment. You know, it means that obviously they think that some of the stuff I say holds water. Personally, I think I'm 100% wrong about everything I say. Although there were some things that were said in the trailer that I did talk about in some of my speculation videos, like the whole government cover up. Yeah, I talked about that in one of my older videos, so that at least looks like it came to pass. But I think that's the only one I got right. I think everything else I'm probably way off. Hey Rob, what if we ever? Oh yeah, you already answered that. Donald Sneed, be a hell of a trick if they pull it off. I agree. Let's not fudge continuity. Yeah, King Kong. Oh, see, it'd be hard to do a King Kong versus Godzilla now because you're gonna have to scale one down or scale the other one up. And once you do that, you take away their original, like the original impact they had on people. Like if people saw King Kong as Godzilla size now, they just wouldn't buy it. They wouldn't buy it. Nobody would buy it. Nobody would go see the movie except hardcores like us. But people would be like, well, man, King Kong's not that big. He could barely climb the Statue of Liberty. How the hell is he going to be like half the size of the statue? Excuse me, Empire State Building. How is he going to be half the size of the Empire State Building? So it wouldn't work as much as it would be cool to see. Yes, Godzilla Returns on Blu-ray. That's what I want. So RS Hadio or R Shadio, however your name's pronounced, I do apologize. That's Rodan. I swear he will be the surprise. You see, don't know. I'm giving Edwards the benefit of the doubt right now that he's telling the truth. Could he be lying? Absolutely. Why would he want to spoil the surprise if it happens to be another Toho kaiju? But we don't know. We definitely don't know. I think it might be the spider. Makes perfect sense. That's Nico that mentioned that. Tow truck. I always wanted to see other monsters fighting each other with Godzilla not involved. Yeah, yeah. Tow truck. I'm with you on that. If Toho were to pull out more Godzilla movies, I would definitely like to see some stuff like that in between, like like a Ghidorah versus Space Godzilla. They kind of redo Space Godzilla. He looks a little bit better, and it doesn't even take place on Earth. They're in space and they're destroying other planets and they're fighting, and yeah, that would be great, man. That's a good one, Tow Truck. Yep, big ups on that one. Do you think the monster violence will be graphic? Yes, I do. And I think it's going to be graphic because I do not think monster violence will affect the rating, especially if the color of the blood is not red. If it's like green or blue or some crap like that, yeah, they're going to go all violence on that. Jedi always got my back. Rob, irregardless is a word. Irregardless originated in Dictator America's speech in the 20th century. It's fairly widespread use of speech caught at the attention of uses of commentators. Oh my God. What about can you look up List Batman? Is that an official word? Jedi. Look that up for me. List Batman 1983 or is it 1993? 1993 maybe. Let me know if that is an official word. Hey, that's not bad though. We're almost an hour and a half into this, and that's probably the one troll comment I've had so far. Somebody correcting my grammar, when apparently, according to Jedi, my grammar was perfectly fine. Fantastic. All right. Solid choice would be Anguirus. He was Godzilla's first true enemy. Yeah, not only would Anguirus be a solid choice, but you could argue that he was mutated by a porcupine or some sort of vermin. You know what I mean? Because he's got the spikes and all that. He's on all fours. So that's why I said in one of the questions that I think Rodan, Anguirus are two definite monsters that you could drop into that realistic world. And I think I mentioned one or two of the monsters, but can't quite remember. I think this movie makes or breaks it. Yep. King Grimlock, yes. Do I think this makes or breaks a series? I do. I think this movie is it. This is it. If they don't nail it with this one, no more. No more. You'll never see one in America, and you may not even ever see one in Toho. Because if this movie succeeds, you better damn well know that Toho is going to try and take advantage of this. So I do agree with that. Baragon? Oh God, no, no. Baragon is some of these monsters you guys are mentioning. Like I can't see. You got to remember if you're going to bring in some monsters from the Godzilla universe or any other universe, it's got to be monsters people are going to be familiar with. Nobody knows. We know Baragon. Us in this collective here, and people outside of this collective who are kaiju fans, we know Baragon. The general audience doesn't know who Baragon is, so they're not going to take interest. The general audience may know Rodan more than they know Baragon because Rodan has been in multiple movies. He's had his own movie. Same thing with Mothra. Same thing with maybe and even Ghidorah. As much as I love him, he was in what three Godzilla movies in the 70s, from the 60s and the 70s. It was Godzilla versus the three-headed monster. Four. Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, the Three-Headed Monster, Godzilla vs. Gigan, and Destroy All Monsters. As far as I know, those are the only movies he was in back in the day. And then when you bring it up to current times, you had Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, where Godzilla blasts his head off, and then Kaiser. Is it Kaiser Ghidorah? I believe so. From Final Wars, and then the other versions of Ghidorah from the Mothra movies. And I only know that because I did see one of the movies, and then I was mentioned to me by somebody else that he was in another movie. So I get the feeling that the Muto feed off of nuclear energy, and they are targeting Godzilla to feed off of his nuclear energy. Yeah, he's probably got the strongest source of nuclear energy. I mean, compared to a missile, when you think about Godzilla's size and then a missile. So yeah, tow truck. I think you're on point with that. Definitely. All right. So guys, we are going to be ending this pretty soon. So just wanted to let you know. Not right now, but in a little bit. But if you can, I do need to take a bathroom break. So we're going to take 5 real quick, and then we'll go for like another half hour or so, and then we'll wrap things up. So give me a few minutes to go and relieve myself, and I will be back in a couple of minutes. All right, guys? All right. Okay, guys, I am back. Thank you for your patience. And once again, I wanted to thank everybody for showing up. 105 people, that's incredible. I really, really appreciate it. And I do apologize for everybody who I might have missed. Excuse me, I had to get a drink. I was getting like cotton mouth. Um, if I missed your questions or whatever, um, this is the first time I've ever had this many people in a live stream. I think the most I've had before this is about 50. And even then, even with 25, 30 people, it's hard to keep up. But this thing, if you were on my end seeing how quickly this thing is spamming up, it's like incredible. So, yeah, but I'm going to try to do the best I can to cover as many questions as I can and comments for the next half hour. And like I said, next time when you see me schedule a live stream, just email me the questions. Obviously, I didn't handle them well today. I've did it better in the past. I don't know how I missed some people, but apparently I did. So I'm just bear with me. I'm gonna go through because I've seen this thing just spamming like a motherfucker, man. When I got back, I just saw it flying. It looked like the whole Matrix thing, just like it was just crazy. All right. Oh my God! The secret is a giant meth monster called Methsosaurus, created by Bryan Cranston, so he could fight with Godzilla along with Malcolm Reese and Dewey. That's nice. Kai J. Halo jumpers fall into a big pile of muto shit. And it's like, and then it has like an acid effect, so they burn up when they touch it. That's hilarious. Hey, Liz Bad Mouse is busting your chops, man. That's one thing about me is when someone busts my chops, I come right back. That's why I have a hard time with trolls because I actually have fun going back and forth. It's not that a troll will ever really bother me with their comment. It's just I grew up in a family where my father, my uncles, they used to pick on. They didn't give a shit if I was 7. They didn't give a shit if I cried. They would pick on me until I either got over it and went right back at them. So like I have a comeback mentality, and I always have a comeback mentality of coming back twofold. So like if someone hits me, I try to hit them harder. So yeah, so that's why I have to kind of learn, especially this week. It's been a big learning experience. I've had tons of trolls this week, and some of them I've answered, and it's like, you know what? Do you really want to get into a back and forth with a troll when your viewers want to come there and comment and exchange comments with other people? They got to see this shit. So I've really tried to kind of ignore that, and that's one thing that's like one of the top 5 rules of YouTubing is that if you get trolls, you just got to ignore them. But I have a hard time ignoring them because I like I like to come back. So Nos. Yep, that was all right. So I'm way behind you guys. I can tell because some of the comments I'm getting now, you guys probably mentioned this like 10, 15 minutes ago. All right. I think Godzilla might have trouble using his breath in the beginning of the movie, and when he fights the mutes, he just unleashes. Yeah, that's a good one, Zach. Yeah, like he has. It's not something he can control. It's something that it just happens when he needs it, but he can't control it. I like that theory, and they might go with that, and that might be the reason why we don't see it very much. Rob, do you think the Mewtwo will glow like real insects? Do the leg in the trailer look like it was glowing red? You know what's funny, Chris? And I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you for bringing that up. It's a good question. The funny thing is, and this is another thing I took out of the trailer. You notice when they're shooting flares and they're halo jumping or whatever, they have the color red. But I think they cut the movie in such a way to make you think that whenever you see red hues is from flares and stuff. But I like what I'm gonna lean towards that. There's some kind of aura that these monsters have because if you remember, in fact, do I still have? Damn, I put it. Close it. There's a part where Godzilla runs through the city. You see his tail. Very, very, very common part. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. He's got a red hue with him, almost like either right behind him or with him. I don't. I think there might be something to that. So, good point. I'm glad you brought that up. I think the red glow is something we need to probably look for, because I don't think those are all flares, in my opinion. I don't think it's all flares. All right. Rob, what if this is from Sean Henson? Rob, what if Godzilla's atomic breath is something we've never seen before? Yeah, all for it. I'm all for it. I mean, you wanna keep the fans happy. You want to try and stay original, but you do need to put your own kind of freshness. And Gareth needs to put his own touch on this. He does need to make his stamp, even though he's remaking a classic monster. He has to put his stamp on this movie because his career depends on it. This is his first opportunity to make a splash and make an impact on Hollywood. So yeah, I think if it's completely something new that we've never seen before, I think that'll be great. All right, moving on. Do you think the Muto monsters mutants could be literally made out of humans? That's Mr. Smiley 91. Um, no, I'm gonna go no with that. I'm gonna go no. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think not. I don't think they'll, because that again, you kind of toe the line between cheesiness. I mean, how many movies have we seen where humans become deformed mutants, and it really hasn't worked out too well? You know what I mean? Like, just yeah. I mean, I can't think of anything really. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with no on that one. What do I think about Big G's new size? I think it's great. I like the fact that he's just slightly bigger than one of the other Godzillas from the Japanese series, and but he's not like Titan big. Like he's not big where it's like Unicron standing on Cybertron. He's big so that, like they described it, he's big enough so that you could see him from any part of the city, but not too big where he can't be obscured, which is perfect, probably the perfect way to do it. Majora's Fan 101. Yeah, I think that would be awesome as a fanboy. I would love to see something like that. Will we see something like that? I don't know. I don't know. I think it would be too much too soon for a sequel. I mean, let's assume that they make 4 or 5 movies. Then maybe you could see that like in the fourth one or the third one. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know if we're gonna see something like that. But it would be great. I'd be all for it. What do you think of Monster Skeleton found in the Sarazawa in the trailer? Edwards just says that something about its origins, and that's something to think about. Yeah, that's from Multi Death 10. That's the one that's got me questioned right now because what's confusing me is it looks like a fossil, but there are dead bodies right next to it, and they're not decomposed. They're not skeletons. They look like they've been there maybe for a week. So I'm very interested to see what that's about. Because even if those people died from some sort of intense radiation poisoning in that area, what the hell were they doing there in the first place? They weren't doctors. They didn't have suits, hazmat suits on like the other guys. I mean, you look at the trailer, they just look like they were wearing regular clothes. So, interesting stuff. Commuter fan, do they think they could ever make a Mechagodzilla if they do a trilogy? As much as I love Mechagodzilla, I don't think if they go with a storyline that humans build a robot to fight him, I don't think they're gonna construct a robot exactly like him. Especially now after Pacific Rim, then the general public, are gonna be like, well, why would you build a robot like him when you can build a robot like them? Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I love Mechagodzilla. It's another one of my favorite villains, but unfortunately, I just don't see him in this universe. Now, if I was wrong, man, that'd be great. That would be so cool, but unfortunately, I just don't see how they could work that. What do you think, Rob, if Gigan killed Godzilla? I think I'd be making a new bullshit video. Okay. Haha to say that Destroyer's breath ray is called Oxygen Destroyer. Hellstorm Ross. All right, Hellstorm. Take it easy, buddy. Yeah, Rob, do you think Godzilla's breath will reflect the force and power of a nuclear blast shockwave followed by the fire? It probably that's which is probably why they're getting all the nuclear power away from him, like the missiles. Maybe when he uses a couple of blasts of his breath, he needs to recharge on nuclear energy, and that's probably why they're taking it away from him, because he's like a walking nuke. What about Regenerator 1 as a surprise? Oof. What do you think about Godzilla size? Like I said, I love the size. 350 feet is great. Yeah, yeah. I talked to somebody and they mentioned that the Muto on the 2013 Comic Con trailer had wings. I don't know if this is true. You see, Methyl Kaiju, the problem there is that that would be the first time I hear it. So why is it that from Comic Con to now, nobody said that it had wings? See, this is yeah. I mean, now it's just again somebody just and maybe he is right, but I mean, I've never heard it. I kept hearing that it was like an arachnid spider type monster. Nobody ever mentioned it having wings. So if somebody's saying it had wings, then you know. All right. What the fuck is Bandana Milkshake? Oh boy. If this music, this is from Scumdog. Scumdog. If this movie is a huge success, how do you think that will affect Toho Godzilla movies going forward? CGI versus suits. Yeah, I actually covered this in a recent Q&A. You might not have been there at the time because I don't recognize your name, so maybe you're a new viewer or a subscriber. But what I said in the Q&A was that obviously G fans, hardcore G fans, will be all for it, whether it's a suit or not. I think it all depends as to whether or not how far Toho wants to go. Do they want to make a lot of money? Do they just want to please the fans and make a small profit? Because I don't think you can go from what they're about to do with this movie back to a suit. I really don't. So I think if they do suit movies, they're going to have to keep the budget small, and they got to understand that they're just going to be pleasing the hardcore fan. I've never seen Japanese movies do good CGI. Why? I don't know. Maybe they don't want to invest the money. Maybe they don't know how to use the equipment. I don't know. I can't understand why you can make games that look beautiful, but your movies look like shit. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. So I think there's definitely going to be a market for that. It all depends how Toho wants to carry it. Now, with that said, I don't know the details of the copyright deal with Toho and Legendary and Warner Brothers. Sometimes when there's a deal like that, the company that has the rights that just obtained them, from what I understand, they have it for a set amount of time, and within that time frame, they have to make a movie or whatever the case may be before the rights go back to the original owners or whatever the case may be. So I don't know. I don't really know how that's going to work out. I don't know if it's something. What's going on, Monster Fight? I don't know if it's something where Toho's going to wait for them to finish a trilogy, or if they're going to try and capitalize on the movie right after it's finished. So we'll see. It does. It does suck. The surprise is Gamera. Man, I wish. People have been begging for that for years. Gamera and Godzilla. Smaller Godzillas in the city. Yeah, I don't see any other Godzillas in this movie. I don't. I think that would be a bad move because immediately you're going to remind people of Godzilla 98. And at the same time, again, it's going to take away from the primary Godzilla, I think. No, I understand what you mean. What if? PG-13 or rated R? Well, honestly, based on the trailer, it looks like it'll be PG-13. It's still unrated. I would love for it to be rated R. lot of people hate me for. I mean, not you guys necessarily, but when I made that video, a lot of people were like, "What the fuck? Why do you want it to be rated R?" Blah blah blah. And it's like, wow, really? I don't know. That's just me. I just think if you're gonna have a monster wrecking cities and people dying, that just doesn't sound family friendly to me. So why would it be PG-13? But I understand how it is. I understand people want to make money or the companies. So why would they make it? Yeah, it'll probably be PG-13. All right, so Royce Taylor, Rob, how will the body shown in this wave that Godzilla creates in the city going to affect the rating? Yeah, and that's when we were just talking about the rating, but Royce, that's a good point because another thing they said in the 20-minute recap of the recap of the 20-minute showing is that during that scene there are people like bouncing all over the place, and it was very detailed as to the violent. I guess they were explaining it like it was very detailed in terms of how impactful a wave is with people bouncing around and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Box office prediction domestic, I'm going to say 320. Worldwide, I'm going to say 820. Um, Rob, do you think Japanese audience will appreciate this take on G? We may like the effects photorealistic, but they actually like the Toy City look. I think Don. I think they're ready for an upgrade because Final Wars did not do well. It didn't. It didn't do well. I think. I think you got to understand where the games are now. When the games look better than a movie, no one's gonna go watch the movie. And let's face it, there are games made by Japanese game companies that look better than the latest Godzilla movie in a rubber suit. So I think the audience in Japan is ready for an upgrade for Godzilla. Um, but we'll see. The numbers are going to show. The numbers are going to show whether or not how they take to it. So GMK. What do you mean, Sean? What about GMK? Wow, there's so many beer break. Oh my god. I'm just getting to that comment now, and I went on break like 20 minutes ago. Really far behind you guys. Wow. All right. So, wow, this is crazy. It's taking my shit. Rob, I can't see. If G for 2014 grosses over 200 million US and 500 million worldwide, sequel's possible. Of course, we all hope for a billion plus world gross. I can see Toho taking an interest in making a trilogy, possibly. I'm just kind of going through all your comments right now because I just looked at some of the comments and I'm like, wow, I'm so far behind you guys. Like I'm answering questions that were given to me before I took a break. So break it off already, Rob. Oh man, that's funny. You guys are hilarious. Well, I'm gonna say this now, just so I can get you guys to catch up to me. But it is 11:28, so we are going to call it in a few minutes. Um, I want to thank you guys for showing up. I, I didn't expect quite this turnout, but wow, um, incredible, crazy. If I had a cameo in Godzilla, what would I do? I wouldn't want anything crazy. Just let him step on me and kill me. That's it. I want to die by his foot, or I want him to incinerate me. Interesting point, tow truck, with the sinkholes and the people exploring. I don't think so, Tony. I think, like I've said this in a video. I have a video called "Will Godzilla Die?" I think they'll leave an open ending. That way, they can go either direction for the future. I think they'll make it appear as he'll die, but they leave it with reasonable doubt. So if they make a sequel, it's not surprising. But if they don't make a sequel, at least they have closure. I think he's a male, Ryan. I think he's a male. I don't think he's a female. I know that's been a big question in the past. His sexuality. People want to know what sex Godzilla is. Don't end it. I have nothing to do other than this. Yeah, but don't tread. I got a lot of things to do. I still got 2 videos to upload. I have 2 battle simulations, and then I have to work tomorrow. And I was hoping to get some gaming in tonight before I go to bed. Don't worry, I'm gonna start making it so that maybe at least have one live stream a month. I know it is really fun, and I know you guys like it. It's a good way to for us to interact live without me having to make a video and then you guys watch it and then I come back and I comment later or I don't comment later. That's right. Yeah, I want to die by his foot. You got it. Quote that shit. Jay McGuire, unfortunately, if you just got here, you pretty much missed the whole live stream because I am going to be ending it in a few minutes. I'm just covering a last minute, some last questions, but fuck the work, dude. You know how much I want to like this. It's Saturday. It's gonna be, I mean, it would be Saturday, but yeah, got it. No, I know you're kidding, but I got to do my work thing. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Dark Souls, man. I'm gonna be all over that shit on March 11th. Yeah, right. Maybe I should save them all till May. I still got that one that I want to do on the guy who swears that the Godzilla movie is going to be based on the end of times. Did anybody see that? I think it's gonna be a cut down version of what we just saw. Don't worry, McGuire. There's gonna be more. I've been thinking about doing at least one live stream a month, maybe 2, instead of just kind of sporadically throwing them on you guys. Oh yeah, Ryan. That's right. I keep forgetting about that. I'll hook you up. I think I still got your email, so I'll get that to you. Very flattering, by the way. Rob, what if you got a chance to star in a Godzilla porno? Man, I would hit Mothra up so hard. Man, I'd do like rough shit on her, hold her fucking wings, and just kidding. That's all right, Sanjadilla. There'll be more. There'll be plenty more. Trust me, buddy. I only scheduled the one in May because I wanted to make sure people knew that as far ahead of time as possible. But we're gonna have more live streams between now and then, so don't worry about that. Yeah, I've seen both covers. Very nice. Very nice. Good question, Terrence. Hopefully it's not a bullshit like Stan Lee cameo. Oh, thank you, Faisal Khan. I hope I pronounced that right. I guess you guys just heard me do the Mothra joke. I see a bunch of LOLs and LMAOs. Oh, thanks, Xenomancer. Very, very, very good. So while I got you guys here, and I am going to make a full-fledged video about this because, all right, so I know a lot of you are pretty new here, but for everybody who saw the video I made about the T-shirts, I am going to be doing another video for the t-shirts with a new design now that I actually have a sign-off, which I've been looking for years. It feels like years. But anyway, what I need from you guys is I need emails to let me know who's interested. Because if you're really seriously considering getting a shirt, then I just want to know. It doesn't mean it's a commitment. It doesn't mean that once I go forward with it that you have to buy it. But I want to reach a certain threshold before I make a decision on making the shirts. So email me at robetnation@aol.com. Actually, let me put it in the chat. Hold on. Okay, there it is. Oh, Tim, it'll happen in time. Actually, if you guys want to know some pretty cool news, between the days of Monday and Wednesday, the channel got 400 subscribers. The best day out of those 3 days was Tuesday. I received 157. My record before that was 67, so it's actually been a pretty good week. But you know, I want to thank you guys for all that because you guys actually, you know, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks. It means a lot. It really does. But it's, you know, the channel's doing well. The nation is growing steadily, and I much prefer steady growth. I don't want to be one of those overnight sensations. I just can't handle. I know myself. I couldn't handle trying to make videos for like 1 million or a couple 100,000 people. Like I kind of like this, but doing something like this is, I don't know if it's something I could ever do if we ever had a channel that large. Because can you imagine? We had 120 people in here today, and the chat room was flying. Can you imagine having like 800 or 900 people in a live stream? The thing would crash. We'd never be able to do live streams. Rob versus Godzilla. So anyway, real quick, last thing on the t-shirts. Just email me. I'm going to be doing a channel update on Sunday, and I'll do a little thing on the shirts. I'll show you guys the design, and then from there, everybody's got about a week or two to email me. And once I get to a certain, right now I've got about 18 people that are interested, but I really didn't give time for that first video to circulate. So somebody asked me, you know, why don't you extend it another 2 weeks, give people time to decide whether or not they want it. So, but thank you, Zeomancer. What would you do if you Komodo Island? I don't know. I don't know anything about. Oh, you mean? Oh, yeah, no. Yep, no. Stay out of there. I'll stay out of there. Espinosaurio. I hope I said that right. Actually, McGuire, the live stream is going to be up to watch in its entirety. So, yeah, all you got to do is wait about a half hour or so, and it'll be up on the channel. You can watch it whenever you want at your convenience. I don't know. I think he'll be the first of his kind. That's my opinion. Put your stream on WWE Network. I don't know if they'll let me, considering this is not really wrestling related. That would be cool, but no, I don't think so. I don't think you'll see a Gamera reboot trailer after the movie, but that would be sweet. Oh God, go ahead, Wolfpack, do it, do it. I want to see that. That'll be funny. All right, guys. Thank you very, very much for joining the live stream. I do appreciate it. I will promise we'll do more often. I know you guys like this stuff. I didn't realize you guys liked it this much. I really thought, you know, but if you guys want more of it, I don't see why not. It's a good way to cover some topics without having to do like 5 or 6 videos in a row, and it gives us a better way to interact and discuss the things that we like. So maybe I'll start doing it, at least for starters. What you smoking? Oh, this is my e-cig. Jen, my e-cig. But but anyway, yeah. So I'll start maybe planning at least one a month, and yeah, we'll go from there. See how it goes. So I see a lot more questions popping up still, but I have to go. So save your questions, write them down. You can email them to me. Maybe I'll start filing them away for the next live stream, and we can go. We will have more before the movie, so Don't worry about that. We'll definitely get more. So, but thank you guys very, very much. And I will see you for the next live stream. You guys are hilarious. Anyway, I'll see you guys for the next live stream. If you haven't joined the Facebook page yet, go to the Nation Facebook group page. Great community. Link is on the channel homepage or any video of mine that you can go into and just click the link. I am very active in that community, so you can talk to me some more there. But primarily, the group there is fantastic, and some of these guys can attest to that. So, all right. Thank you, guys. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we do entertainment, and we call bullshit. Yeah, I like that. That's good. All right. Take it easy, guys. See you next one.